Time for the Deadcast.
Hello, one and all, it's me, SharnOfTheDEAD, and it's the Deadcast once again, and as always, I've got my best buddy joining me, it's Chris Sumner.
Hello.
Yes, he's here, he's alive, and of course, we're going to be talking there's quite a lot to cover today, actually. We've got lots of games that have just come out, we've got the PS Plus, and there's a few other things, and it's just general, a lot of game talk today, which is more than last week. So, I don't know where we want to start, Chris. I mean, let's start with what you've been playing, Chris, because I know you've been playing a game that's been out for, 2 years, and it's the first time you started playing it.
Yeah, based on our discussion last week with the top 10 ladies of gaming, and your inclusion of Lara Croft, I decided to throw in the Tomb Raider reboot, because I never played it on last gen.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Something told me it was going to get re-released on PS4, so I finally popped it in. And it looks great, but I don't know how I feel about it yet. Because in the first half of the game, it sounds like how you described The Order. It seems very much quick-time event, very much cinematic, and the actual gameplay of the game is only about a third of it. Now, hopefully that'll ease off once you get out of kind of tutorial stage. And I've got to admit, as you find the character of Sam's video camera, and you watch the videos on that and you learn a bit more about the character's backstory, I'm enjoying that. But it's just within 5 seconds of putting the game in, the ship was already getting wrecked. Lara was already jumping from one half of a broken ship to another in slow motion, that complete cliched Spider-Man, Commander Shepard, any action hero jump in slow motion between two platforms. And then the guy who was catching her dropped her, so she fell in slow motion. Another cliche within 6 seconds. And then I was just in a cave that was imploding in a Michael Bay sense. So everything was going off, and loads of quick-time events, and I'm like, hold on, I actually want to play this game. I've got to a bit later on where I can just run and gun, and I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah.
I'm putting everything into the handgun. So I'm willing to give it another try. It didn't blow me away. It was no Last of Us. But I'm willing to give it a bit more time.
Yeah. When you think about the opening to this and The Last of Us, it does hold your hand a lot, and you do find yourself rapidly pressing a certain button to not die at the beginning. And it's like, it is quite linear, but it does open up towards, later on in the game, where you eventually get your climbing pick and you can move around, and there's more of that going on. But I think it's just meant to be setting the whole, what's happening, and it does kind of like go to shit quite quickly, where it would have been nice if it actually took give you at least 20 minutes with the characters, and then things go to shit afterwards. And
yeah, well, that's what I like about this video camera. You get to see the backstory, and obviously this was before shit went down. And those are the best character moments so far. You mean, you can find journals, but the journal mechanic's kind of terrible because you have to just stay on the pause menu and listen to it rather than pick it up and listen to it whilst you're running around.
Yeah.
But through those and through the video camera, the characters hopefully will flesh themselves out a bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
so I've got hopes for it.
It's the best Tomb Raider game there is, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I never enjoyed the original Tomb Raiders, and I think this one is what Tomb Raider needs to be. But I mean, it did get a lot of comparisons to the Uncharted games, and to be fair, if I was to play this Tomb Raider or Uncharted, I'd probably play Uncharted, because it is very cinematic in its sense, but it's just, I think Uncharted...
They've got to remember to put gameplay in there.
Yeah, what's it, Uncharted 3, the way the game played in that, it opened up in like a bar fight, and the fight actually showed off this dynamic combat I've never seen out like that in a game till then. And it's punching guys and it's smashing the faces off the bar, and it just felt like you was almost watching a scene, but you was playing it. You was doing those actions, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, although a lot of people didn't like Uncharted 3, but I think it's because the first two were quite different, and this was more like more of a Hollywood movie, like an Indiana Jones film. Although Indiana Jones has never really jumped off a cargo plane or whatever and landed in the... Well, he's actually survived a nuke in a fridge. I don't know. They're both kind of similar. Yeah. But they're good fun. Definitely worth, if you ever get to pick up a PS3, the Uncharted franchise. I mean, I imagine they'll come to PS4 anyway, but they are amazing. But yeah, enough of Tomb Raider.
Something I'm itching to try.
Yeah.
Other old games that I'm playing as well, other old games that I've completed, I finally finished Skyward Sword. So I finished my first Zelda game ever, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, when I was playing it, it seemed like quite a bit of backtracking and quite a lot of fetch quests. But it's just a nice world, nice and bright, fun characters, and I just really enjoyed it. And I'm eager to play the other ones. I mean, once I finish Tomb Raider, I think I'm going to throw in Ocarina of Time.
One of the best games ever made.
Yeah, that's held up as the best one in the franchise. And while the mechanics and the graphics of it might not look as good today, hopefully that strong story and those strong characters will shine through.
Well, for
me...
me...
I think once I complete that, I'll be a full kind of Zelda fanboy.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've probably beat that game 7 to 8 times. And there's not many games out there that I've gone back to and beat 7 to 8 times and enjoyed from start to finish. And Ocarina of Time is one of those games. A lot of people rave about Majora's Mask and saying, it's, but I don't know anyone who's beat Majora's Mask 7 or 8 times because they enjoyed playing through it. Ocarina of Time is just... It was a game changer when that came out. And it's still, even to compare... As far as I'm concerned, even compared to today's games, it holds up in terms of gameplay. And the variety that's in that game. And this came on the N64, for God's sake. This is an old game. And yet it was almost way before its time. Because it's just amazing. From start to finish. I love that game and I hold it in very high esteem.
It makes me excited that I've got a stack of Zeldas to get through, because other than Ocarina of Time, I've also got Majora's Mask, like you say, and I've also got Twilight Princess, and then hopefully later on this year I'll pick up a Wii U. I can't wait for Hyrule Warriors, because the final kind of lead up to the final boss fights, you have to ward through waves and waves of enemies, and that kind of gave me a flavour of what Hyrule Warriors would feel like.
Yeah,
which was a nice surprise.
Dynasty
and
Warriors.
Then they've got the new Zelda coming out this year as well. So I know there's still life in the franchise. So it's not too late for me to catch up.
Interestingly, I can't remember if it was a German store or a store. It was on an article on M4G. A release date as spring for the new Zelda game, and a lot of people's like, could that even be possible? I mean, there's no way that game's coming out in the first quarter of this year, because from what they showed at the Game Awards,
we've just seen one cutscene.
Yeah, well, they did show some gameplay from the Video Game Awards where he was riding on the horse and he was going through this massive meadow and things like that. Well, obviously it was off-screen footage, so it wasn't the best way to view the game. But it looked good. But to think for it to come out in the first quarter, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, they reckon Star Fox was going to come out before Zelda. That was what they said during that. So we'll probably see Zelda as like a Christmas release. I don't think we'll see it in the summer. I think it will be like a Christmas
that's
release.
More sensible. You don't want to rush anything, and they know they'll make the big money at Christmas, so there's no need to rush.
Yeah. I mean, another thing is that once this comes out, this year you've got Mario Party 8, Zelda, Star Fox, the Splatoon, a couple of other big games, and then I won't be surprised if Nintendo do announce a new console. And what they're going to have to do is either make it backwards compatible, because if they're going to bring out another console in the next 1 or 2 years,
I don't want to lose your Wii U games that you just played for.
It's because there is talk about that they need to. They make great games, but in terms of hardware and what the console itself is capable of, it does need to catch up a lot. And I think the fact that there's only a 32 gig hard drive in the best model is ridiculous. I mean, you can buy external hard drives, but for God's sake, that it's just not on. They need to either bring out a new version of the Wii U. I mean, God, they probably called it the new Wii U or something.
I think I can afford to wait.
Yeah,
I'm going to wait and see if they release a special edition Zelda one, just so I can make everyone jealous. It's one of those things. I'm not too sure what they're going to do. You never know with Nintendo. They could go on. They could go on with a Wii U for another 2 or 3 years. They could announce a new console or new hardware during this year's E3. It really does depend. So yeah, that's interesting. Whether what's going to happen with a new Zelda, if it'll be like the last major AAA game for their platform. Yeah. Other than those two, though, all I've really played recently has been last month's PlayStation Plus games, which were Apatheon, Rogue Legacy, and a bit of Transistor as well. Yeah. And I've got to admit, Transistor was the one that I was most excited for, and it has a really nice flashy art style.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just couldn't get into the gameplay of it. I really don't know what it was. It just didn't hook me. I think
it was
really
opposite with
played
me.
it for one sitting.
It started, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just ended up with this sword. I was like, what's going on here? What, it's speaking to me? Do I know it? How? What? Hopefully that's going to be explained later on in the game. But the combat I really liked. I thought it was really strategic, and you could choose what attacks you're going to make, and then put them in like a sequence and things like that, and you unlock more as you play through. And the art style was absolutely bloody gorgeous. I mean, for a PS Plus game, it was a good giveaway.
For me,
can't say free though these days, Chris. Can't say free because there'll be always someone saying, "Oh, but the rentals, you rent them as long as you got a subscription." I'm never going to probably cancel it. So as far as I'm concerned, it's free. So it's like I've got a shit ton of games on my SharnOfTheDEAD gamer tag on my Xbox. They might as well have been rentals now because I don't have an Xbox 360 anymore. Well, anyway, that rant aside. But yeah, there's some new PS Plus games out today though, Chris.
Yeah.
Some brand new ones.
Which I'm excited about. The most exciting, to be honest, is Oddworld New and Tasty. Because I was tempted to buy that, and I was really surprised when you told me it was free.
I know, but it didn't. I've taken them a long time to announce it. Like, literally, the day of the release for US, they announced the PS Plus games. Now, they usually announce it the Wednesday before, or the Thursday before the week, commencing. And it took them so long. And I was like, what's going on? What the hell is Sony doing right now? Because...
Do you think they had something better planned, but then they got into trouble with the company, or...?
I don't... Because
I know what you were hoping for.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping for White Knight and Helldivers, to be fair. That I thought... Or one of them, at least. I don't think both of them, but I thought one of them would have been PS Plus. But that wasn't the case. And then there was, rumours that it was going to be Lego Marvel and Octodad. And then...
Yeah?
They disappeared. I mean, Japan do get slightly different, but I think ours were kind of similar to theirs. I think they got different Vita games, though. But yeah, no one expected it. When I heard it was going to be Oddworld and Valiant Hearts, I was like, I've got Valiant Hearts, and I'm not too excited. I wasn't too excited for Oddworld, so I was a bit down about it. I was like, all right, well. And then I found out, instead of 2, there was going to be 4 games for PS4, which included Oddworld, Valiant Hearts, Count Spy, and Ollie Ollie 2, Welcome to Ollywood, which I played the first one on the Vita. And I didn't expect to get 4 games on PS4. I thought that was pretty damn
I think
good.
I think they had bigger plans and they had to scrap them at the last minute, so that's why they brought out 4. Just so, although the quality's not that high, they can say, "Look, we're giving you quantity."
Yeah, I mean, Counter Spy is maybe quite good from what I've seen of it. It does look quite good.
To be honest, it looks like
of course.
A more modern version of Oddworld, which is strange to see those two get released together.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. And Oddworld is, it's to buy on its own. It's about £18, so it's not a bad deal. Ollie Ollie 2 is a 2D skateboarding game, which I've played the first one. I was quite skilled at it. Well, not actually. No, I was absolutely terrible at it, but I thought I was good at it. It's a good challenging game. And I'm surprised the second one is out already. It seems like it's arrived really quickly, and I didn't even know that was happening. had no idea Ollie Ollie 2 was out. So they're the PS Plus games, and I'm quite happy. But that's not all, Chris. That's not all.
What?
Well, there's been some game releases this week. 2 of them I've already bought. 1 I considered, but then decided not to. But I'm going to jump to them straight away. Just before I get into the ones I bought, these are the ones that are available. There's the Telltale Games Collection at $79.99, which involves the season passes for the Borderlands Telltale game, Game of Thrones, Wolf Among Us, and what's it called? Walking Dead.
Both seasons of The Walking Dead. That's
£80. Now that is a lot of money, I think, for what essentially these games are given away for quite cheap. You know, I think.
But to be honest, I've spent it all already, because other than the Borderlands one, I've bought the season passes for all those games.
Yeah. I mean, but that's one to watch, though. I reckon that could go down in price big time. I reckon you could see that for about £30 at some point. So I reckon, if you're considering buying the Telltale Games Collection, I'd wait, because I reckon you're going to see that come down in price in a few months.
Yeah, especially when they're trying to market whatever they do after Game of Thrones.
Another game.
That'll be a nice incentive.
I think this is only 4 players. I think it's local co-op. Let me just double check on that. If it is only local, it might be local. Duke it out, friends or AI players. As what I can tell, there's no online for it. It's called Star Wars, where you play as a narwhal.
Oh yes, I've seen this.
Yeah, it looks quite interesting. I looked at it and was thinking, because it's only local, wasn't that interested? But it does look a little bit crazy. Lots of pretty colours.
Well, you've just got to stab your friends in the heart with your horn.
Yeah,
that's the only game mechanic.
Yeah, stabbing your friends in the heart. I mean, I can imagine it's very fun to play with friends, but since there's no online, I have no local friends.
Maybe they'll just give you bots. If they're nice, they'll give you bots.
Who wants to play against bots? Freaking hell, it's not as fun. It's
not
the same, Chris. Not the same. Anyway, on to the next 2 big games. Both games I've downloaded and played a bit of. Helldivers and White Knight. And if there's 2 games you're going to actually buy digitally this month, it's got to be those 2 games. They are absolutely equally brilliant in their own way. And I'm hoping you're going to pick up at least Helldivers or White Knight, Chris, because I think you would enjoy them. So, Helldivers is dual stick shooter. It's like a cross between Warhammer 40k and Starship Troopers. So you're a Helldiver. You've fought the ranks, and it's got like a tutorial, and it's got a robot saying 89.7% Helldivers usually die during this sequence. Stuff like that, so it gives you an idea.
So it's a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very patriot-like, and it reminds me of the news bulletins you'd see in Starship Troopers. Sounds a bit more like a serious Steel Battalion as well. Yeah, it looks great. I really like it. I mean, I love how. I mean, I've only played it on my own at the moment, but you can play with it 3 other players with you, and this friendly fire is always on, and you can literally get killed by your own team. You can get killed by your own turret. You can get killed by something landing on top of you, and then you can also get killed by the monsters that are trying to kill you. It is extremely brutal. But that's what makes it challenging and what makes it fun as well. So literally every fight is a fight to the end. And what I love about it as well is when you log in, it shows you how many monsters have been killed, and then how many Helldivers have died, and how many accidents there's been. And literally the Helldivers, the number is just flying upwards all the time. It's the amount of Helldivers dying in real time. It's just brilliant.
What's an accident, Sean?
An accident is where something will fall on top of your Helldiver. Your turret will either shoot you in half. Your teammate will, for some reason, shoot you. And just generally anything that's not caused by the enemy is an accident. And
that actually sounds quite funny.
It does. It's really good. Visually, it looks quite nice. It's also cross-buy. So once you buy this game, which is on offer on PS Plus for £13.50, which is, I think, a cracking buy for this game. You get it for PS3, PS4, and PlayStation Vita, so you can play the game on the go. The game is playable on your own, albeit it's very, very hard. but the way it makes up for that is like you get infinite respawns, so you can keep respawning into battle and trying. Whereas if you're playing a multiplayer, if you all die, that's it. But if you've got one guy left, you can try and make a run for it and then call down a squad resupply, so then you get more squad members getting back again. So it's got a very tactical. Fun. Yeah, it's very tactical. And also when you call in certain things, you have to hit sequences on the D-pad, like up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, and that will bring in the sequence, and then you can like throw it out, and the turret will come down, or a bombing strike. There's so much to unlock, Chris.
That takes me back to PS1 cheats.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like you're calling in like a cheat code basically to help you out, but that cheat code can kill you. But you can get like massive mech armors similar to the dreadnoughts and space marines and shoot them up, but you got to be careful not to blow your own people away. You can call in bombing runs, make sure you throw them far enough, else they'll blow you up. When you go down to a bug area, you have to put down a nuke and then leg it the hell out of there, and the blast radius is massive. I thought I was far enough, but I wasn't. I got bloody toasted. And it's just so good. Honestly, Helldivers is definitely worth a go, and it's great fun. Really, really glad. I mean, I don't mind paying money for it because it's a bloody good game. So yeah, that's Helldivers. Next up is White Knight, and this is another game. This one is £14, $13.99, and this game I fell in love with it immediately. Not only because of its art style; it's just black and white, and so the game looks really crisp, really stylish. It's like a noir setting. It's very atmospheric, and you got the voiceover over the top of like this detective. And as you're going through, it's kind of like almost like an old point and click adventure where you have to have a look at everything in the room or what's around you, and you learn more stuff of what's going on, and you have your own journal which updates periodically as you discover more interesting things. There's also puzzle elements that feature light. So for example, it's not spoiling anything, right at the beginning of the game you need to find a key to get into the mansion. Now I was walking around for frickin' ages trying to find this bloody key, and because I wasn't thinking of how it would be found. But it does give you hints to certain things, so you have to pay attention while playing. And it said like there's been something moved here, and it's from a statue. So I went over to the statue, and you was able to push the statue, and it revealed a key on on a cross, which you couldn't see because it was caused by shade. But the light, it was be able to see in light. So once I got into the building, you eventually find some. It's pitch black, like you can't see, and you remember he has some matches, and as you light the match, you can just see around you, and there's lights you can switch on in the rooms, and you can walk around, and it just looks, and everywhere you go is like a fixed camera angle, and it looks amazing. Some of the angles look absolutely fantastic, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. It takes me back to Resident Evil, but they've kind of took it a little bit further and done some really interesting stuff with it. So you've got different perspectives in each room or what area you're in, and it can be quite unnerving because, what made Resident Evil quite scary is that you could never see what was around the corner, but you could hear something. And I played to a point where I was going through the door, and then the light went off, and it was like, oh shit, what's going on? And you could hear this thing, so you're literally frantically trying to light a match. And I don't know if this is either I'm doing it or it's a game mechanic, but he'll light a match and it'll instantly go out, and so he has to light another match to make sure you can see, because whatever is in the darkness is coming for you. And I ended the game after I went into a room, saw this thing, and it went, and this woman thing started chasing me, so I shot the hell out of there and saved the game and went, right, that's enough for tonight. It is extremely creepy. It's got a great atmosphere, great art style.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of emphasis on art directions. It sounds to me, and from what I've seen from the trailer, it looks like a nice kind of middle ground between the original Resident Evil and maybe something more modern like a Wolf Amongst Us.
Yeah,
with a bit of a Mad World colour scheme of just black and white.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a game. I'm going to upload a bit of gameplay on it, and I'm hopefully going to see how long it takes me to finish, but it does seem quite spooky, quite creepy, and it'll be interesting to see where that game goes and what will keep it interesting. But I like the match mechanic. The save rooms feel safe, and it's just got a lot of interesting ideas. So I'm looking, I think this week in terms of digital games, which, to be fair, both Helldivers and White Knight are probably well better than the last few AAA games that have just come out. and they're budget games. But I found myself enjoying White Knight more than The Order. I found myself enjoying Helldivers more than Evolve. And these,
do you think it'll take more than 4 hours to complete?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, White Knight's going to take you up to 8 to 10 hours, apparently. That's what they reckon. And I think with the puzzles, it may well do. It might take you a while to solve things. And whereas Helldivers offers you so much playability. And that's the thing. It's like, these indie people like to bitch and whine about indie games being released. Oh, where's the AAA? But the thing is, you're getting AAA effort and that goodness from these games. Just because they don't look amazing doesn't mean they're not amazing, because they are. And there's a few stinkers that come out, but these two games are definitely worth your attention if you're into playing games, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I was in HMV the other day, and in game. I was trying to kill some time in Manchester.
Right.
But I was looking at all the game sections and all these stores, and there's still just not enough to hold my interest on the PS4 shelf, the Xbox One shelf, or the Wii U shelf. There's not enough AAA or just physical release games.
Yeah, it's
so
all digital.
I'm glad we do have these indie games coming out on digital.
Yeah.
It is something different, and I'm glad we do have PS Plus as well, because there's not enough out there on the shelves, to be honest.
Yeah,
and what is out there isn't really worth the money.
What we're getting with AAA is everything's been oversold. How Watch Dogs was oversold, Assassin's Creed Unity was oversold. There's Evolve was overhyped, and that there's games that are being hyped up. I mean, The Order, to an extent, had a lot behind it, but people was actually, for some reason, there was a lot of hate directed at that game. I think even before that game came out, people were slagging it off for whatever reason. And so my expectations weren't too high for that game, and I found myself enjoying it. So that one, and there's the argument about price and things like that, where I remember, back in the 90s, man, you could beat a game in 4 or 5 hours when you was a kid. It didn't matter because you was a kid back then, what you buying the games, but those games were still £45, just like The Order is now. And when you think today, the production values are exceedingly higher. There's a lot more money in it, and I think to slag off a game for its length, it's a bit much when there's a lot of games I used to play were very short. I remember beating Dino Crisis 2 like 3 times in one day.
I mean, sometimes I want a short game. Sometimes when I want a short game, I'll either go to something from Telltale or I'll throw in Fable 2 or 3, because those are short but fun. Sometimes that's just what you ain't got
time. We haven't got time all the time to play a game as big as Dragon Age. I don't want to be doing padding, fetch quests one after the other. Sometimes I just want to enjoy an experience, whether it's 6 hours or 8 hours. Enjoy that experience. Go, oh, that was all right. I enjoyed that, and then I can trade it in and get half or more the money back. Which I mean, I wouldn't buy games like that digitally because, again, you probably won't play them again. And I think so. I've got a slight soft spot for The Order. But so there's. I've lost my train of thought now.
We're talking about short games have a place, because although I'm excited to go through the entire Zelda franchise, the most daunting thing is I know they're all quite long.
Yeah, they are.
Sometimes that's why I've thrown in Tomb Raider in between. Because I imagine I could knock that out pretty quickly.
Ocarina of Time actually can be beat quite quickly if you know what you're doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, it almost is the illusion of a long game, but I remember when I played it again at the last playthrough I played for it, I was like, oh my god, I'm getting through this quite quick, because I knew what I was doing. I've done it so many times before, but I was still enjoying it. There's just something about that game, I can't put my finger on it, but it's just something special. It really is. But yeah, I mean, like, in terms of going back to the budget titles, and then you got your trip, how everything's been oversold, overhyped, and they never live up to expectations, where the indie games They do, and they still don't get the recognition. Oh, it's indie. Who gives a shit? That's what I see a lot of comments on, trailers for indie games. And it's like, oh, where's the AAA? Oh, Indie Station. Oh, why have they spent so much money on a console and all they got is shitty indie games? And I'm thinking, yeah, you're an idiot. I can't stand that way of thinking, because you're missing out on some really good games.
And to be honest, think of the most successful indie games. Think of something like Slender Man and how that kind of lit the world on fire.
Journey got Game of the Year one year, and that was amazing.
Oh, Sean, how about Five Nights at Freddy's?
Oh, all right. Actually, yeah, this is the other side of indie games, right? You got good indie games, and then you've got games like Five Nights at Freddy's. I do not understand the fascination with that game. I have looked at it, I've read about it, and I still don't freaking get it. Last night I watched Angry Joe. Him and other Joe was playing through it, and they looked so uninterested while playing it. It wasn't even freaking them out. Joe kept pressing escape, kept closing down the game, because I don't think he knew what he was doing. Whether he was drunk, I don't know. But I was watching it, I was thinking, this is shit. All it does is try and jump scare you, and you're just literally looking left and right and at CCTV to see if they're in a certain area, and then, oh no, it's outside the door, better shut the door, or press a button. So it's just boring. I don't get it.
I like the idea of it.
You would.
It's got the creepy factor.
Creepy factor? What, a bunch of mannequin-like teddy bears or whatever?
They're terrifying. Particularly in the second one where they're starting to rot as well. And the fact that the idea that they want to stuff you in the suits. But I just like the idea that it's very minimalist. In the first game, it's just a guy on the phone telling you what to do, a bunch of scary characters, and two doors. Yeah, they are releasing these quite quick.
It's getting milked. Like, the other two are more or less the exact same, aren't they?
On the one hand, you've got to respect the fact that they can put these things out so fast. But yeah, they are very simple in what they do.
The opening, you listen to a guy on the telephone, and all you hear is I don't understand what the fuck he's saying. The person playing the game don't understand what he's saying. I'm just like, subtitles would have been nice, so then you can actually, get an idea of what the backstory is for that game. But there isn't any.
Well, to be fair, no, actually, it's one of those which is kind of not exactly on the same lines as something like Dark Souls. But if you kind of analyse everything that's there is a surprisingly deep backstory to it. Someone who's done a very good series of videos on it is...
It's like a creepypasta.
The Game Theory channel.
Game Theory. I mean, it is like creepypasta, and I think there's many other creepypastas that could be games compared to this. I've watched people play it. I watched PewDiePie play it, and honestly, I think he just played it. I don't think he gives a damn shit about the game.
I think it might be the fact that we're in England and it's kind of based off the whole kind of Chuck E. Cheese franchises in America, so that's something a bit more commonplace.
So it might go over our heads a bit. I mean, it's going over
and a lot of people have theorised that some elements of the plot are based on an actual kind of shooting and killing spree that happened in a Chuck E. Cheese's. Again, game theorists get into this. Which is quite dark. And again, you don't see that stuff on the surface, but when you do your homework or you listen to everything in the game, there seems to be a deeper side to it. So, I can't say I've really played it, but I've read up on it, and I do like the sound of some elements.
I can understand that. I like that. I like the fact there's a backstory, there's a deep story to it. It's just a game I don't like. I think it could be a lot better.
You don't move. You just kind of bolted to your position.
You look left to right, look at a thing, and then it pops out at you to scare you. And that's all there seems to be is to it. And you got to try and survive the 5 nights. That, to me, is just... I'm not interested. I'd rather play something like Slender or SCP Containment Breach, where you're actually doing something, and you're discovering things, and you're having to run from things, where it is you're just in a stationary area and you can't do shit. It's just... I don't like that, just because I don't find it as an enjoyable game, and the fact that it costs money as well to do that is just I wouldn't even pay to play that game. Free to play, fine, but I don't understand why people are paying money for it. But that's how I see that one. But a lot of people love it. In fact, there's hundreds upon thousands of people that love that game,
Saying that though, you're talking about getting AAA quality from indie games. I would like to see what the people who've done this could do with a big budget and a bit more time. Yeah. Because the fact that they've knocked out these 3 games that have had pretty big appeal and pretty rave reviews, although some people like yourself just don't understand why. Yeah. I'd love to see what they could do with a big budget. Because you can't deny the creativity. You can't deny that the games look good, although there's not that much. There's not many mechanics in it. They look good, and there's no bugs in it. It all seems to work well, and there is kind of a sense of dread and horror about it. They have succeeded in what they wanted to do, whether or not that's what you as a consumer wants to buy. Yeah. So it's interesting to see what could come from this kind of fast-paced game release.
We'd have to see. I mean, I'm very indifferent on 5. I mean, there are indie games that are great, and then you do get the rubbish ones. Actually, just recently, Mark Biffle, the guy who made Thomas Was Alone.
No, but go on.
Is it Mike Biffle? I think not Mark. Mike Biffle. He just recently tweeted saying, it just put having a link to a Steam game. And I clicked on it, and it was like a complete rip-off of Thomas Was Alone. Exact same art style, just that you can change on the blick on the fly. And I'm thinking, what? You literally, all you've done is just taken someone else's work and changed it a little bit. That's got to be plagiarism. That's plagiarism. That's plagiarism.
Do you remember the Indie Games channel on the Xbox 360? It was all that. It was all the same game, but with either craft put after it or zombies put before
Minecraft.
it.
Yeah, come on. There's dev talent out there. They should be coming up with more original ideas than other people's. I can't stand those type of developers. I don't give a shit as far as I can't stand them. And it's like the Android App Store. When Flappy Bird came out, there was about 2,000 freaking different Flappy Bird games. Just give it a rest. Stop ripping off things. So this is why I don't like mobile gaming, because it's all bullshit. It's all rip-offs of other things, and it makes me sick. You can't come up with an original freaking idea. Don't freaking make a game, as far as I'm concerned, because it's just, it's not even paying homage. It's just blatantly stealing. If you're slapping a price tag on a game that is more or less the exact same fucking game as someone else's, you should be freaking sued to the ground. I don't give a damn. You should be able to come up with your own idea. Sure, take some kind of something away from that game and put it into your own, maybe a similar mechanic. Well, don't make it like for freaking like. I don't understand that. I really don't.
Makes you really appreciate Five Nights at Freddy's, doesn't it?
Well, there's loads of spin-offs to that freaking game and all, isn't there? There's Pokemon in it and freaking ponies, My Little Pony. They've done the Five Nights at Freddy's with them, and I'm just like, I don't like that. I like original ideas. Like Thomas Was Alone is a fantastic, lovely game, and I think Mike Biffle, it was a brilliant, cracking. I really enjoyed it, and it made me care about little blocks for somehow. I don't know how, but it gave them personalities, and to do that, I think is a big accomplishment. It's just. It's just one of those things that it really does annoy me when people kind of steal other people's work and then try and sell it. I don't agree with that, and that's why I hate mobile gaming as well, because that's all it is. It's just copy and paste games that are mostly crap. You go in the Android App Store, there's probably about 30-40 games that are worth downloading at the several bloody God knows how many 100,000 games available.
Yeah, and when you do download them, it's all microtransaction based. Like, there's two types of currency. There's the one you get in game, and there's one that you have to pay for.
Yeah, it's one of the most successful types of gaming. Mobile game is more success. It makes more money than anything else, and I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me, because I can't see. It just infuriates me, because there needs to be more to that.
It's quick and easy, no challenge.
Yeah, it's quick and easy, but the quality of the games is not good enough. It's not good enough. A DS and Vita, where you're getting proper games, fine, but on these tablets and phones, it's all, there are some gems that come out every now and then on them, but they get overlooked for Candy Crush or Soda Crush or drop this thing on this crush or something freaking else. It makes me blood boil.
we got obsessed with Jurassic Park Builder for a while, didn't we?
See, that was all right. Yeah, Jurassic Park Builder, that was good. But then again, it got to the point where you had to more or less buy the rest of the game to progress.
Yeah, you had to wait. If you didn't want to pay money, you had to wait 3 days to build like one attraction or one dinosaur.
Yeah.
Where it was just daring you to pay for the actual in-game cash.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, as far how mobile gaming is as successful as it is, I still don't know, because I thought people would probably want more from their games. Because I get it from the console games. Helldivers, White Knight, you're not going to get anything like that on a freaking iOS device, or even unless you have a proper controller setup and all that. I mean, iOS do have better games than Android. You know, they had Bastion and games like that, but it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things, Chris. That butter my biscuit, or whatever it is. No.
But yeah, going back to console gaming, though, it seems like we are going to get a lot of good stuff soon. There's a lot of good trailers we've been watching recently.
Yeah. What was that one you told me about earlier?
Just before we recorded, Hunger.
No, I tell you now, right? If you're listening to this podcast still, even now, good for you. Hunger, right? Just you can pause it if you like. I don't mind. As long as you come back and unpause. Yeah, open a new window. Type in, right? Because what it will do, it'll bring up the Hunger Games, right? You don't want that. You don't want that. It's just called Hunger.
Another thing that wants to squeeze your money out your wallet. Have you heard, a quick aside, they're planning on making more movies after they've run out of books, just because they know it's a hit. Which is stupid. But anyway, go back to Hunger, the game.
The Hunger, the game. GameSpot have got a trailer. So put Hunger game, GameSpot maybe, or something. Hopefully it'll come up. And this game looks really good. Like, it almost looks like stop motion in terms of how the game's presented. Actually, if you've played maybe Puppeteer, that might look it looks kind of similar to that. It's got a really weird thing. You play as this little girl. She's very small and in a big world.
When you say little girl, you mean she's like 1 foot tall.
Yeah, it's really strange, and this game is really weird, big time. And it's definitely worth checking out. I really hope it's coming out soon. Obviously for PS4, and I think if it be coming to Xbox One, I don't know. But it looks really good, and I didn't know about this game until Chris told me today. So there you go.
Yeah. So there's good stuff coming out all the time. Other good trailers. There's been Bloodborne. So many Bloodborne trailers.
Oh my god, Bloodborne! How many days? It's the 4th today. You know what? I only found out this the other day. I thought it was coming out on the 20th of March, but it's not. It's coming out on the 27th.
Yeah, 7 extra days. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to wait that extra week.
We've got like a bloody eclipse going on the 20th. We're going to be plunged into darkness for a few hours.
That'd be the perfect atmosphere.
It would be the perfect. I can't understand Sony and not like.
Why don't they time their release dates to the stars? Come on.
Sony. I mean, that would have been cool though. A game like Bloodborne being released on the same day as an eclipse would have been absolutely freaking amazing. But unfortunately, that's not happening. It's like if they released The Order the day on the day before Valentine's Day. That would have probably sold a hell lot more copies. It's like, pick your days to release your games, guys, because you're missing out on some extra sales for certain reasons. I'd totally go out if there's Eclipse and there's like Bloodborne's out today. Oh yeah, this is good. This is working well.
It's like all the signs are there. Like in the morning, you cut yourself shaving and the blood just won't stop coming. Then you look outside, it's all dark. Like I better get Bloodborne.
I need to get Bloodborne now. Yeah, so I can't wait though. The boss fight that was shown in the new trailer looked phenomenal. I reckon this is going to be like the first PlayStation exclusive that'll probably have a close to 90 on Metacritic. I mean, the only other one is Resogun. So
yeah, and it's the first one of these games that we're talking about that I'll happily go out and buy on day one.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. PlayStation exclusives haven't been as good as they should have been, really. And I can agree with that. Infamous Second Son was all right. It was okay. I enjoyed it, but it didn't like blow my dick off or something like that. I don't know. I didn't want amazed by it. I enjoyed it from start to finish. The graphics are pretty and that, but I felt it needed more to it. Like one of the powers you unlock later on doesn't even have a special. It feels like they kind of cheaped out on a paper power, where you had like this paper trail, and once you completed it, you just got a new jacket rather than a new power, and everyone was like, "Oh, come on!" And it just felt like it kind of undelivered in some ways, and but it was all right. It was not a terrible game. That's the thing. So far, all the Sony exclusives aren't terrible games, but they're not great ones either. Other than the indie games, where Resogun is still, as far as I'm concerned, one of the damn best games across all platforms to be released in the last 2 years. It's like games like The Order. Order's good. It's not great. I mean, it's not as terrible as people are saying it is. From my perspective, I really enjoyed playing for it. Other exclusives that came out, Knack. I wasn't too sure what they was going for with that one. Killzone Shadowfall was alright. Beautiful looking game. Drive Club. Actually, Drive Club is better now than it was before. So, these are... I'd say that is probably the second best PlayStation exclusive, because it's been improved significantly since launch. And I think that, they deserve credit for supporting the game rather than just going, yeah, alright, we screwed up, let's move on to a new project. I'm kind of happy they've supported that game through and through. So yeah, I think Bloodborne could be the first big game for PlayStation. They need it because like they are kind of undelivering in some way. I even acknowledge that. I mean, even Microsoft though, they need the same. They need a big exclusive to really get things going. And I'm not too sure what it's going to be.
I know you don't think much of it, but I was quite impressed by them recently when they announced Fable Legends is going to be free to play for everyone. Yeah, that was some
news. That was news during this week. I mean, they got Project Spark free to play. I mean, for me, Fable. I liked the Fable games for what they were, but this is not. It is like a spin-off, and it's basically the same idea as Evolve 4 versus 1. You got 4 heroes. One person plays as the bad guy who is meant to stop the heroes from getting to a certain area. I mean, it's cool that they made it free to play, but it depends how much that's going to cost the player to get things they want. What are you going to start with?
The good thing is, for the first time in kind of Fable history, they haven't got Peter Molyneux talking shit. Yeah, because he's not working for him anymore.
Yeah, no.
So at least we've got that.
They haven't got him saying... but I think, even though he did speak the big talk, Fable 3 was a bit of a car crash. Fable 2 was pretty good. And I was hoping that... When you say next-gen Fable, I know it's new-gen now, basically, but that's not what I imagined Fable was going to become.
It seems like they've released the multiplayer for Fable 4 without actually writing a story for Fable 4.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's the kind of thing that BioWare is throwing to a Mass Effect or Dragon Age.
You have nailed that. You have absolutely nailed that. It's like they've released a multiplayer for the Fable 4 and they've not done a single player. You could not be more right. And that's exactly what's happened. I mean, like, the last game was a Kinect exclusive, Fable Stagecoach or whatever it was, and that bombed.
Fable The Journey.
Yeah, The Journey. That bombed. And like someone said to me, I was like saying I really expected to see more Fable, and it's like, oh, you think it's gonna, just because it's doing a spin-off, it's gonna crash? Well, the last one did, and this one could. And basically, what I was expecting for a new gen Fable was literally blows away Microsoft.
Yeah, return to number one. Because to be honest, number one is the only really, really good game in the franchise. I've got 3 copies of Fable 1, and I'll tell you what they are. I've got the original one, because it was back compatible, so my Xbox original would play on the 360. But then they released it as a digital download, so I got that, so it would have better mapping to the controllers. And then they released the Anniversary Edition, which had better graphics, so I bought that as well. So I've got 3 copies of Fable. So it could be good, and it could... I mean, if they released a new gen Fable that could be kind of a sillier rival to maybe something like Dragon Age.
That's what
it might tempt more people to the Xbox One.
That's what they needed. Not some kind of spin-off free-to-play game. That they needed to do a fully fledged brand new Fable game, because that's a killer exclusive. That's a big deal to a lot of people, Fable is. And
although they've got that theme park one, haven't they? What's it called? Scream Ride or something?
Yeah, I checked that out recently. It's been getting mixed opinions. Videogamer.com's Tom Ori reviewed it recently, and he also speaks about it in their podcast. And he's when he kind of makes sense when he's talking about certain games he's played. And he's like, it's not like Roller Coaster Tycoon. You do build roller coasters, but it's not in that same spirit. And he had a few issues with the game itself. But
it would be the best one of them.
If you have fun playing it, as long as it's at the right price. I don't know how much it is to buy. I imagine if it's a budget title, like 10 to 15 quid, I think it would probably be worth a buy. But if it's like a fully priced game, I think you should avoid it until it comes down in price.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So that's
we saw what they did to Zoo Tycoon as well. They kind of ruined that.
Yeah. Stripped it bare for the Xbox 360 version so they could try and sell more copies for the Xbox One. That's basically what they did.
And even then, you couldn't even build paths.
Yeah, it built its own paths, didn't it?
We'll do that for you. You don't want to build paths.
Yeah, you don't want to build your own park. We'll do that for you. Yeah, it's just. Zoo Kart, it looked fun. Actually, there's another. Not Tycoon game, Tropico. Is it? I don't know what number it is. I don't know if you've ever played the Tropico games. Yeah. That's coming to PS4 soon. I see a trailer for it, and you build. I don't know. Is it like Sim City? I'm not familiar
you build
with
your little
games.
kind of island paradise.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's similar to those lines.
Oh right. Well, that's meant to be coming out. I don't know when, but soon. And actually, this month sees a release of quite a few games. Actually. Another game you've never played, actually, Borderlands. I don't think you've played that, have you?
No, I've never touched Borderlands.
Handsome
Is
Jack.
it a re-release of 1 and 2?
Well, not quite. It's kind of silly that they haven't included 1. But what it is, it's the Handsome Jack edition, fully remastered for new gen. It's Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Which is Telltale, which means I should like it.
No, that's not included. It's the pre-sequel is another Borderlands game. Actually, I don't even think the Telltale one is included. Unfortunately, I know. I mean, they could have, but I don't think it's included. But what is included is pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 and a literally metric ton of DLC.
They released a lot for that.
A lot, yeah. And I remember playing Borderlands 2. Yeah, it was good. Good sense of humour, fun to play with friends. One of the things that annoys me is about 6 billion guns that all sound the same. But
to be fair, the thing I've been crying out for is kind of like a sci-fi shooter that I can play on the next gen, which isn't Destiny. So that actually might be one that I'll pick up, because it sounds like it's got a lot of content to it anyway, and it'll have some fun multiplayer.
Borderlands 2 is better than Destiny. Even if it's on one planet, it's still I'd say it's probably got more going on for it than Destiny has. I mean, the new Destiny DLC is supposed to be coming quite soon, isn't it? I think it's this month or next month. Or maybe, I know it's not far. So I'll be interested to see what that's like. But yeah, I feel like Destiny's under-delivered. I mean, I play it every now and then, but I think there's some corners cut there in terms of what that game was going to be and what it actually turned out to be, which is disappointing to say the least. But Borderlands 2 is it's a cracking game. Handsome Jack Edition is definitely worth buying if you've not played Borderlands 2 before, or if you just want to play Borderlands 2 on new gen. It's going to sell well because a lot of people love those games. So yeah.
Talking of future releases, can I talk about one last trailer?
Another trailer, go on.
One last trailer. I know you've watched it. Arkham Knight.
Oh, Batman. Yeah, forgot about talk about him. Batman. Well, apart from
it looks fantastic. It's really set things up.
It's like, wow, this looks. I mean, I can't wait.
It kind of sets up the villains, this trailer, doesn't it? And it seems like we've got a lot of the big Batman villains, which is one of the key selling factors for Batman. He's got the best villains.
It seems like the key villain is Scarecrow. Is that right?
Which is interesting. That's what this trailer kind of says. They say Scarecrow came up with a plan and he got all the villains together, and it kind of makes it look like the Arkham Knight, who we thought was the big villain, is more of a henchman. But he must have more of a role to play, because why is the game named after him? other than they just like this naming convention of having Arkham something.
I mean,
actually, that's probably it, isn't it? He is only a henchman, but they just chose that name so idiots wouldn't realise it's part of the same franchise.
Either that,
Arkham
or you got a character arc for, because it's very rare. You usually get a character arc for a protagonist. Don't always get it for the bad guy. You know, the bad guy just stays the bad guy all the way through. If you see this Arkham Knight who, you know, is just in the background, but eventually raises above and becomes even more of a issue than Scarecrow. I mean, what if it's this Arkham Knight could be behind it all, and he's actually you know, pulling the strings in right in the back, kind of like who was the bad guy in Arkham's? It was Arkham, the third one.
Origins. I never touched Origins, but I think it was Black Mask, bad guy.
Was it Black? Or was the one and Arkham City was?
Arkham City was Hugo Strange, but it was actually
Hugo Strange. Yeah,
it's actually Ra's al Ghul.
Oh right,
but it was actually the Joker as well.
Oh right,
and
so
it was actually Clayface. But it's good because it seems like this has got everyone in it as well. Same with the heroes. It seems like they're adding Red Robin in there. Nightwing's already popped up. You've got Oracle. Hopefully a bit of sass from Alfred over the radio. Seems like whilst they're boosting up the bad guy roster, they're also boosting up the hero roster. And that's something that I really liked about Harley Quinn's Revenge for Arkham City, where you actually finally got to play as Robin. And he did play a lot like Batman. One, because they're putting the same mechanics over, but two, thematically, because Batman's trained him. But then he did have his own flair. He used different weapons. He used his kind of bow staff, and whenever he put his explosive gel on the wall, he wrote it in an R instead of drawing a bat. Nice little touches like that.
Yeah, well, I've got that for the Wii U. I've not even played it yet.
Get on it.
I was just like, that's the best thing about the Wii U. It kind of bridges the gap, and I can still play the Batman games on it. Apart from the new one, that's not going to be on the Wii U. But I do think the Arkham Knight could be pulling the strings, making Scarecrow. Maybe Scarecrow just thinks he's got full command, but this guy is actually, you know, the real issue. Because, like I said, they're not showing him, have they? No one knows what the Arkham Knight looks like. Is that right?
Oh, I think they've shown. He kind of does look a bit like a souped-up Batman. He's similar to Batman's design, from what I've seen. But I think it's nice that they're doing something different with Scarecrow, because he's only really just been used in trippy platforming sections. Yeah. And rather than just using him as a game mechanic, they're using him as a character now.
I mean,
because
the game
it's good for once they're getting away from the Joker. Because not to go into so many reasons, but there's reasons why Joker won't pop up in this one. And it's good that someone else gets a chance in the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, the Joker he's a cracking villain, and he's been voiced brilliantly in the Batman games. I think Mark Hamill does a brilliant Joker, and I think Troy Baker? Troy Barker? I can't remember how you say his name now. Is it Baker Barker?
Baker.
He voiced Batman Joker in one of the games as well.
It was Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins, it wasn't made by the same team. They didn't get Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill to do the voices, the iconic voices. And it copied half the maps from Arkham City. So maybe, whilst it's going cheap now, it might be worth picking up, but at the time I was just offended by it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people will probably skip that one and only played the first two because it didn't review very well, and Rocksteady know their shit how to make a good game. I remember playing Asylum for the first time, and I couldn't understand why I got Game of the Year, because it was
the combat's flawless.
Amazing.
If you time everything right, you do feel like Batman, and if you take a hit, you feel like you've let Batman down.
Yeah. I can't wait. And that's not out till June. And that got delayed, remember. That was meant to come out last year. Batman. But
that's a good sign. It means they're doing the best for it.
They said the reason it was delayed, I see this on N4G, an article, the reason it was delayed is because they wanted to expand it more. They wanted more in the game, and they feel they could have done that. So, you know, it'll be pretty cool. Oh, I've just seen an interesting article. It's bringing things as it comes. Amazon Italy has entered a few hours ago a new release date for the highly anticipated new chapter of The Legend of Zelda. The date is June the 26th. Now...
Ooh. Maybe that's when I'll have to buy a Wii U.
E3 is usually in June, if I'm right. It's usually in the summer. I'm sure it was June last year. It's beginning of June. They may well announce it there. I don't know.
Yeah, they could.
And also,
they could steal the show. They could steal the show by saying it's out in a week. It's out in a week.
Yeah. MGS5 has also been announced as well for the 1st
Yeah, is that
September
1st? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, if they want me to play it, they better re-release Metal Gear Solid 4 digitally, because I never had a PS3. I never got to play it. If they release Metal Gear Solid 4 for the PS4, one, that'll be good marketing for it. They'll make money from that, and I'll want to carry on the franchise. But if they don't, I'm not going to touch it.
Kojima actually wants someone to make Metal Gear Solid 1 and completely remake it for next new gen.
They already did. We've got Twin Snakes, and it's still good.
Well, he wants to do an open world version in the same way as the Phantom Pain is. And if they do that, David Hayter better be voicing Snake, else I'm not freaking interested. I can't change that.
Being Big Boss's story, I suppose all I'd really have to play is 3, and then play 5. But still, the fact that I'm missing 4, and they could easily re-release it, and make a lot more money and make a big bit of advertisement for themselves. It seems like an opportunity lost, really. Oh,
another game announcement as well. I talked about this in the Ladies Gaming. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster.
Oh, you love X-2.
Oh, X-2. I love 10. X-2 was alright. I remember when I picked that up for the very first time, and I was playing for it, and I was like, I don't really like it. Why they got costumes? I don't understand this. This is not what I thought it would be. And I remember being really confused, but I enjoyed it anyway because I liked Yuna as a character, and I wanted to beat the game. But I think 13 was better than 10-2. But
to be fair, 10 is the only Final Fantasy. 10's the only Final Fantasy I've ever played to completion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of 7, and I've touched on the others, but 10's the only one that gripped me all the way through. So I'm glad that's getting a re-release.
Just trying to find it, and I think it's May. That's when it's due. So I can't. I did see the article, but I've lost it now.
Well, it's alright. I think we've covered a lot today.
Yeah. Well, that's all the game talk, and I'd say we've come to the end of the Deadcast, Chris. So anyway, if you've stayed with us, we're going to be doing some more top 10 videos soon. We got top 10. Was it video games to films to what was it, Chris?
Top 10 movie games.
Top 10 movie games. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's definitely coming soon. That one's ready to go, and we're toying with other ideas as well. So maybe if you have a good idea for a top 10, leave it in the comments.
Damn right. Anyway, as always, I'm SharnOfTheDEAD. And that's...
I'm Chris Sumner.
Yeah, that's Chris Sumner. And this was the Deadcast. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, thanks for listening. And we'll see you in the next Deadcast. Bye!
Bye!